Bradshaw covering anyone.
Now, believe it or not, there have been instances when WWE have changed a match completely on the spot. Now, there are a number of reasons that this has occurred. The most common reason is an injury taking place during the match, and the match has to be changed in order to keep the injured wrestler safe. However, there have been occasions where an audible has been called and the actual match winner has been changed in the middle of the match itself.
That enough? Oh, yes! Got her! Here is your winner, Tamina!
But which times were they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 WWE matches that were forced to be changed on the spot. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists.
The match started, we were supposed to go over. Next thing you know, I'm losing. Next thing you know, now Garzada is beating me.
Number 10, Brock Lesnar vs Roman Reigns. The main event of SummerSlam 2018 featured Lesnar defending the Universal title against Roman Reigns. There was some concern going into the match that the live crowd would completely hijack it, and that's exactly what happened a few months prior at WrestleMania 34, and it resulted in one of the worst main events in WrestleMania history.
Hear the bones cracking in the face of Reigns. That's just after every strike by Lesnar.
The SummerSlam match avoided this mainly due to a fan interest in Braun Strowman cashing in his Money in the Bank contract, but also due to the match being changed on the fly.
The cover! Hook for the leg! Reigns did it! Roman Reigns did it! Reigns...
The match duration came in at the 6-minute mark, which is relatively short for a pay-per-view main event. Interestingly, the match was supposed to go on for much longer, but Vince McMahon called an audible and wanted the match to end before the fans completely turned on Reigns. A total of 20 minutes was cut from the match, and the pay-per-view would go off air without fans airing their grievances towards the brand new Universal Champion. Number 9, Natalya and Tamina vs Eva Marie and Doudrop. Injuries can happen at any time in a WWE match, and this was certainly the case when Natalya and Tamina teamed up to face Eva Marie and Doudrop on Raw. During the match, Natalya injured her left ankle and she had to immediately tag out of the match. This changed the complete direction of the match and it forced Tamina to take over. Natalya would stay on the outside of the ring and Tamina would finish the match without her assistance.
Right to the chin to the cover! And that's it!
Now, although the match could have fallen apart, Tamina managed to make it look as if it's the way the match was supposed to go, which is a testament to her ability. Number 8, the 2011 Royal Rumble. One of the major spots in the 2011 Royal Rumble was supposed to be the elimination of John Cena. It is believed that Cena was supposed to be eliminated by the Miz's protege Alex Riley, but these plans had to be changed on the spot when Riley was accidentally eliminated in the match.
At WrestleMania, that would be a very bad idea. So we are about to...
Riley would last a total of 2 minutes before he slipped and fell off the apron, eliminating him from the match. Rather hilariously, Cena looked absolutely shocked and he was clearly baffled as to what had just taken place. WWE had to think quickly and they called an audible by having the Miz, who was on commentary for the match, eliminate Cena.
Miz eliminated Cena!
This was a great call from WWE, as the Miz was planned to beat John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania 27, so the improvised spot kick-started their build to their WrestleMania title match. Number 7, the 2015 Elimination Chamber IC title match. But when the WWE books a gimmick match such as the Elimination Chamber, they have to ensure everything goes to plan or the match can end up in complete and utter chaos. This was the case at the 2015 Elimination Chamber pay-per-view when WWE presented a chamber match for the Intercontinental Championship. The match was sent into turmoil when Mark Henry's pod broke, meaning that Henry was forced to enter the match much earlier than expected.
What? Oh, look at that!
Due to the nature of the chamber match, almost everything in the match is planned in advance, but WWE simply could not expect something like this occurring. It was incredibly awkward to witness, as the superstars in the match had zero idea what to do, so much so that Henry was standing in the ring awkwardly, seemingly waiting for instructions. Former world champion Dolph Ziggler managed to get the match back on track by calling impromptu spots to try and make the match run smoothly. Ziggler deserves a ton of credit for this, as it's unclear how the match would have proceeded if Ziggler didn't think on the spot. Number 6, Liv Morgan vs Chelsea Green vs Natalya vs Tamina. In November 2020, Chelsea Green made her SmackDown debut in a fatal 4-way match against Liv Morgan, Natalya and Tamina. This match would act as a Survivor Series qualifier match, and Green was supposed to win it and head to the pay-per-view.
Right hand to Natalya. And now Liv Morgan. Very impressive.
However, she would break her wrist in the match and she was forced to be taken to the backstage area for medical assistance. This forced WWE to change the result of the match on the spot, and they decided to have Morgan win the match in a rather abrupt but vital decision. A lot of credit should have been offered towards Morgan, Natalya and Tamina, as all three women managed to get the match back on track rather quickly without it being too unnoticeable that the match finish had been drastically changed. Number 5, Eddie Guerrero and Perry Saturn vs the New Age Outlaws. The February 3rd, 2000 edition of SmackDown featured the WWE in-ring debut of the legendary Eddie Guerrero. Unfortunately, the debut didn't go to plan, as Guerrero would be injured in the match, resulting in him missing an extended period of time from WWE television.
Watch and listen to this. Listen to his left elbow. You hear it snap.
The injury took place when Guerrero executed his trademark frog splash, but sadly he dislocated his left elbow upon landing the move. Due to Guerrero's injury, the match was changed on the spot. New Age Outlaws member Road Dogg would then immediately cover Guerrero for the victory. This wasn't the planned finish to the match, as Guerrero and Saturn were supposed to win the match, but the finish was done in order to end the match as quickly and as safely as possible. Number 4, Lita vs Trish Stratus. Lita vs Trish Stratus is considered by many to be the most influential women's feud in WWE history. One of their more infamous matches together took place at the 2005 New Year's Resolution pay-per-view, as towards the start of the match, Lita would injure her knee and the match was forced to be changed right on the spot.
Watch your left leg here again. Oh, there, right there.
Lita was supposed to win the match, but an audible was caused and it was decided that Trish was to execute a chick kick and pin Lita for the victory. The match would end after 4 minutes, which was much shorter than originally planned. This match also happened to be for the women's title, which meant that Trish Stratus would win the women's title in a rather unorthodox circumstance. She would go on to hold that title for 448 days before dropping the title to Mickie James at WrestleMania 22. Number 3, CM Punk vs the Boogeyman vs Big Daddy vs The Miz. As CM Punk wasn't the most popular superstar with WWE management in the summer of 2007, management, specifically Vince McMahon, simply didn't get what the future WWE champion could offer the WWE. In the summer of 2007, WWE booked a fatal 4-way between Punk, the Boogeyman, Big Daddy V and The Miz. This would take place on the ECW brand and the winner would become the new number 1 contender for the ECW title. Now the planned finish was for the Boogeyman to be victorious, as they wanted to push the bizarre character as a major babyface moving forward. However, halfway through the match, an audible was called. WWE decided to have Punk win the match and become number 1 contender. It was said that this audible came from McMahon directly, and Punk would end up capturing the ECW title the following month. Number 2, DX vs Raided RKO.
Right. Oh yeah, right there. Wow, that right knee.
A Triple H tearing his quad during the DX vs Raided RKO match at New Year's Revolution 2007 was one of the most devastating injuries in WWE history. This was Triple H's second quad tear in the space of 6 years, and it once again took place in a major matchup. When the injury took place, it put the match into limbo for an extended period. Raided RKO members Edge and Randy Orton seemed rather lost and they were looking for direction. The serious injury resulted in HBK stepping up and calling the entire match on the fly. Amazingly, this was done without fans actually realizing what HBK was doing.
My God, Shawn!
No, Shawn, don't do this!
Shawn, you...
No! Jeez! Good God!
And number 1, Jericho vs Neville. Chris Jericho received a ton of praise for his actions during a match with Neville on Raw in 2016. During the featured matchup, Neville broke his ankle and he simply couldn't continue. And Jericho, being the pro that he was, pushed the referee in order to cause a DQ.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, wow. No need for that.
That is...
Oh, the official had no choice.
Yeah.
Jericho's quick thinking allowed Neville to get the medical assistance that he needed. The planned finish of the match was supposed to involve Jericho countering a Frankensteiner into a Walls of Jericho for the submission victory. However, the DQ finish resulted in Jericho losing, but it was the most logical and safest thing to do. Neville would miss a number of months from television, and he would even miss WrestleMania 32, where he was scheduled to take part in the ladder match for the Intercontinental title. But there you have it folks, 10 WWE matches that were forced to change on the spot. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.